of the power of positive thinking, but I call it the pain of positive thinking. My client, Ella, was a successful, whip-smart, and very uptight attorney in New York City, whose younger sister was dying of breast cancer. But Ella wasn't allowed to say that. She wasn't allowed to say that at her law firm because they needed her to work and to think positive. She wasn't allowed to say that in her spiritual community because they needed her to have faith and to think positive. She wasn't allowed to say that in her new mind-body healing community where she had taken a couple of weekend workshops because they needed her to give her sister an instantaneous healing and to think positive because doubt blocks healing. When my client Ella's younger sister died of breast cancer, the people at her law firm sent flowers and they each signed a card. And they hoped that she could stay positive. And the people in her spiritual community hugged her and prayed with her and helped her and her family plan a funeral for her sister. And they hoped that she could stay positive. The people in her mind-body community asked her what lesson she thought her sister was trying to learn from having cancer. And they hoped that she could stay positive. So Ella was surrounded by people, but was somehow all alone with what was forming in her gut, which was, in fact, a kind of primal scream. And it was very clear to Ella that what was in her head was welcome, and what was in her heart was okay. But what was in her gut was not allowed. And so she just kept pressing everything down, all the sadness and the shock and the anger and the resentment and the guilt, and it all just kept going down into this little ball, very small but very compact and dense and heavy, so heavy. And you know what? She did not feel fucking positive. And she started to get headaches like a vice around the top of her head, and anxiety attacks where her heart out of nowhere would just start racing wildly, and she felt like she couldn't breathe. You know why? Because denying something doesn't make it disappear. My client Ella walks into my office for the first time. And she's a tall, statuesque blonde in a Donna Karan suit, and she looks perfect, kind of rigid, sort of like a Barbie doll. And I can almost sense the shield around her that's kind of like the plastic cylinder that Barbies come in. And she sits down, and I say to her, "What would you like to change in your life?" And Ella starts to weep. And she sobs and sobs and can only squeeze out 2 words over and over. "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." She's apologizing for her feelings. And I hold out my hands and I say, "Do I have your permission to hold your hands?" And she hesitates, and I'm really afraid that this is the first client ever who's going to say, "No, don't touch me." But then she grabs my hands. And that's when I know, whatever this woman is going through, she's gonna make it. So Ella feels her feelings for the first time in about 5 years, because that's how long her younger sister, Marcy, has been battling breast cancer. And so the first couple of sessions, really all we do is let Ella feel her feelings, because I'm not afraid of feelings. They don't scare me. They're just feelings. Some of them feel really good, right? Some of them feel really bad. They're just feelings, and I'm just there with them. But I don't want to just leave Ella there, feeling her feelings, stuck in them. So I know it's time to go to my next thing, which is to flow the feelings out. Ella does not know how to do that. So I say to her, listen, you have been in fight or flight for at least 5 years, because your amygdala, which is this little part of your brain that has the fight or flight response, and it has been doing its job extremely well. It has been sensing all of these awful things coming at you, and it's saying to you, danger, danger, danger. And you're going, wah! And we have to make it stop that. The thing is, the amygdala does not understand words, which is why when people tell you to be positive, it really doesn't work. But I have a workaround. I know a technique that I can share with you that will directly communicate with your amygdala. And it will take all of these emotions that are way up here at a 10 or 100 down. It's been proven in study after study to down-regulate your nervous system. But we're going to have to go through your emotions one by one. Is that okay? And Ella has no idea what I'm talking about, but she's like, yes. So we start to tap. We tap on the end points of her meridians. I teach her how to do it. And this stimulates those meridians, just like the needles an acupuncturist uses stimulates the endpoints of the meridians. We're using tapping to do the same thing. And we do this session after session after session, emotion after emotion after emotion, and it starts to work. Her headaches disappear. And the anxiety attacks get fewer and farther between. But I don't want her to be stuck there. She came to me to recreate her life, not just to calm down. So I go to my next thing, which is to find the false beliefs. We all have false beliefs. One of them might be, it's my fault that I'm still here when my sister died. Our beliefs help to create our life. And there are beliefs, so we get to change them. So I ask Ella, is it okay with you if I connect to the universal consciousness and then connect to your consciousness and then ask what belief systems you need to change? And Ella has no idea what I'm talking about, but she says yes. So I close my eyes and I do my theta thing, and I go into the theta brainwave, which is that brainwave of really deep meditation, but I get there like just really quick. And I ask, what is the first belief system that's totally running Ella's life right now? And right away I know. And I say, Ella, I'm getting that you have a belief I have to be perfect all the time. And Ella goes, I do have to be perfect all the time. And I say, who taught you that? When was the first time you ever felt that way? Close your eyes. You were probably really young. First thing that comes into your head. And Ella goes, oh, I was in 7th grade. I got a 95 on my biology final. And it was a really hard test, and I got the highest grade in the class. And I went home, and I showed my test to my dad. I said, look, a 95. And he said, what happened to the other 5 points? The belief, I have to be perfect all the time, or I don't get loved, I don't get accepted, I don't get approved of, is actually extremely useful to get you through law school. And it's really, really motivating as an attorney. But at this point, it was just torturing Ella. And so when I said, do you want to change that belief system? Ella said, yes! So we changed that belief system. And we changed belief after belief in session after session, and it took a while because, there's no short haul healing. It's long haul healing, right? But it's better than being stuck. And soon, Ella's anxiety attacks are a thing of the past. We don't have to have a traumatic event like that happen in order to have huge emotions. We don't have to go through a trauma like that in order to have beliefs that are really driving us crazy. They're not serving us anymore. We can have huge emotions from going through a breakup, a divorce. We can have huge emotions from the loss of a job or a career or any dream that we were sure would be in our life, and it's just not. We have beliefs that really belong to our parents. We have beliefs from the religion that we were brought up in that we respect, but we just don't fully agree with anymore. And we get to change these things. We don't have to stay stuck. We can enter flow. So this is what I do. I'm Tara Greenway, and I coach people who feel stuck in anxiety or stuck in crappy relationships or stuck in a job that they no longer love or even like. I teach them to feel their feelings, to flow their feelings out, and to find their false beliefs. And in this way, they recreate their lives. The transformation is so deep, it's just almost unbelievable. Which is why I named my company Beyond Your Belief. My client, Ella, a whip-smart, highly successful, formerly uptight attorney, got a tattoo. It's over her heart, and it's a circle of black thorns. In the center blooms a yellow rose. And sometimes Ella's in the thorns. And sometimes she's in that yellow blooming rose. But wherever she is, she's just present with it. So what if that were our goal? What if our goal was not to think positive, but to be present? What if instead of going around telling each other to be positive, we go around showing each other how to be present? Can you even imagine it? Like instead of stay strong, it would be stay present. Have a present day. Oh, thank you. You have a present day as well. I want that. Because when I'm present to myself and to you, and when you're present to yourself and to me, then and only then can we finally feel positive.